Hello everyone, and welcome. I'm excited to have you here today as we explore a practical guide for managers and emerging leaders. Our focus will be on how to deepen emotional awareness, broaden cultural fluency, and build teams that truly thrive on inclusion. The title of our session is Leading with Emotional Intelligence, Empathy and Cultural Sensitivity, and this is Module 3 of our series. Over the next few slides, we'll cover strategies and insights to help you become more effective and compassionate leaders. So, let's get started. Now, let's explore how effective team building goes beyond just working together. It involves deliberately creating psychological safety, fostering a shared purpose, and establishing mutual accountability within diverse groups. These elements are essential for building trust and collaboration. Moving on, cultural intelligence is about more than just knowing different cultures. It's the capability to function effectively across various national, ethnic, and organizational cultures. That means recognizing different norms, adapting our behavior accordingly, and truly honoring differences rather than ignoring them. Then we have emotional intelligence, which is built on 5 key pillars: self-awareness, self-regulation, motivation, empathy, and social skill. These are the foundational qualities that shape how leaders connect with individuals on a personal level. This brings us to the core idea of this module. Emotional intelligence and cultural intelligence don't operate in isolation. They work together as the foundation of modern team building. When leaders develop both, they can unlock deeper trust, foster stronger collaboration, and achieve better results in diverse organizational settings. In today's leadership landscape, success requires more than just technical skills or strategic vision. It's about reading a room, understanding unspoken dynamics, and responding with genuine empathy, especially across cultural boundaries. That's where the intersection of emotional and cultural intelligence becomes vital. So, when emotional intelligence meets cultural intelligence, leaders are equipped to navigate complexity with authenticity and effectiveness. This synergy is what truly drives high-performing, inclusive teams in today's interconnected world. Every case we explore here acts as a bridge between abstract concepts and the real-world decisions managers face every day in a variety of settings. When we diagnose emotional dynamics, we look at how a leader's self-awareness, or sometimes the lack of it, can influence team morale and overall performance. It's about understanding the emotional undercurrents that shape our teams. Next, we evaluate cultural missteps and wins by tracing how assumptions, communication styles, and clashes in values can either hinder or enhance outcomes. Recognizing these patterns is crucial for effective leadership across diverse environments. We then learn to apply frameworks to practice, using emotional quotient, or EQ, and cultural quotient, CQ, models, to propose alternative responses. This helps us act more intentionally in complex situations. Debating trade-offs is also key, considering how to balance priorities like speed versus inclusion, or directness versus diplomacy. These are real choices leaders must make, often under pressure. Through guided discussions and structured reflection, we make theory meaningful by testing it against the messy realities of organizational life. The case studies we analyze come from a broad range of industries, geographies, and team structures, each presenting unique emotional and cultural leadership challenges. Ultimately, this approach helps us connect theory to practice, preparing us to navigate the complex human dynamics we encounter as leaders every day. Let's start with the first step: defining and articulating your leadership principles. Great leaders don't just act, they can clearly explain why they act the way they do. This part of the module encourages you to identify your core values, reflect on how they influence your decisions, and examine how your actions align with those values. It's about being honest with yourself and understanding the foundation of your leadership. Next, you'll draft a personal leadership statement that integrates emotional intelligence, cultural intelligence, and your authentic values. This statement isn't just words, it's a reflection of who you are as a leader. Once you've crafted it, it's important to pressure test it with peers to get honest feedback and ensure it truly represents your leadership identity. Moving on, you'll use structured rubrics to evaluate how specific leadership practices impact your team. Think about measurable outcomes like trust, engagement, and inclusion. By doing this, you can see which practices are making a real difference and where you might need to improve. Then you'll compare different leadership models: transformational, servant, adaptive, and culturally responsive. Each has its strengths and potential blind spots. Understanding these models helps you see which approaches resonate with your values and your team's needs. Finally, you'll identify 3 to 5 core values that genuinely drive your leadership decisions. It's crucial to distinguish between ideals you aspire to and the values you actually live by every day. This clarity will strengthen your leadership authenticity and effectiveness. All of these steps come together to deepen your understanding of your leadership principles and enhance your ability to lead with integrity, purpose, and impact. When it comes to creating truly inclusive environments, the key insight I want to emphasize is that there isn't just one right way to lead. Instead, effective leaders blend different approaches fluidly, tailoring their style based on what their team and the specific context need at any given moment. This flexibility is crucial, especially because cultural dynamics can shift rapidly, and embracing ambiguity allows us to navigate those changes confidently. Leaders who prioritize the growth and well-being of their team members foster psychological safety, which is essential across diverse cultural lines. This is what we call adaptive leadership, being responsive and supportive in a way that encourages everyone to contribute their best. On the other hand, servant leadership focuses on inspiring through a shared vision and meaning. But it's important to be mindful of quieter cultural communication styles that might be overlooked if we're only focusing on more vocal expressions of leadership. And of course, no single style fits every team or every situation. That's why developing the ability to evaluate and draw from a broad spectrum of leadership approaches, what we call transformational leadership, is so vital. When we build this adaptive capacity, we create spaces where every voice matters, where diverse perspectives drive innovation, and where inclusion truly thrives. So, in essence, the most effective leaders are those who can assess their environment, understand their team's unique needs, and adapt their approach accordingly. That's what fosters genuine inclusion and helps us all succeed together. Leadership isn't just about being in charge or giving orders. It's really about taking care of those in your charge, as Simon Sinek beautifully puts it. When we lead with cultural sensitivity, we tap into the power of diversity, which actually helps teams outperform homogeneous groups by bringing different perspectives to the table. This is a strategic advantage. Cultural fluency, understanding and respecting different backgrounds, unlocks team members' potential. When people feel truly seen and understood, they're more willing to put in discretionary effort, and that often sparks innovation. It's about creating an environment where everyone feels they belong. Empathy plays a huge role here. Leaders who understand their own emotional triggers and cultural biases can build authentic trust much faster. When we're self-aware, we can connect more deeply with our teams, which strengthens trust and loyalty. And that's what drives real results. This kind of comprehensive approach helps us understand how different leadership styles impact team cohesion, engagement, and long-term success. The most effective leaders aren't just born with emotional and cultural intelligence, they practice it daily. They refine their approach with every conversation, decision, and conflict. So, moving from understanding to impact is about continually applying these insights, making a tangible difference in how we lead and how our teams thrive.